Evening. I've now got both hands doing things, so I won't miss it. I had intended to ride in the building on my motorbike with dry ice and I think a rock band at the back and some acrobats, and that didn't prove to be possible. So I've brought in a little model of my motorbike. I hope you can see it at the back. So that will have to do, I'm afraid. That's my motorbike. And at this point, it would be obvious that my talk is about my passion for motorbikes. I started quite late. I was quite in my 30s when I started riding a motorbike, and I got to near my 10-year anniversary without major mishap when this happened. I came off my bike in the rain and I broke my shoulder, and quite a few people in my life most were supportive, but there was this assumption that I was going to give up, and so why don't you get a car? And I don't drive a car for a start, so that'd be a bit of a waste of money. No, I was determined to get back on the bike, and I did, and I got a bigger bike, which is the obvious thing to do. And then, I used it to commute, and I then changed job, and I no longer needed to ride a motorbike to work. And again, people were saying, so surely now is the time for you to give up and get a car and stop this terribly dangerous activity. And if anything, it made me more determined to stick to the two-wheeled life. So that's just a little bit of manage expectations at this point, because that is basically the sum knowledge I have about motorbikes, okay? So I'm not going to be bombarding you with technical information or the history of the bike or anything like that. It's purely about my kind of love for the experience. I'm exaggerating a little bit. I do know that the exploded thing is actually called an engine, and which raises the question, really, of why they're not called engine bikes. They're called motorbikes, why not engine bikes? So I'll leave that for you to cogitate upon. I don't know the answer, sorry. But we could start calling them engine bikes. We could start today. It's a bit cooler. Get my engine bike. Anyway, I am ashamed that I don't know more technical stuff. I don't know what the other things are called, but just to reassure you, I'm certainly not going to be trying to persuade you to ride a motorbike. I think if you need persuading, it's not for you. I think it should be something that takes you. Okay, I'm going to wave your lines and go back to the very beginning. I just realised I don't actually have a photograph of myself as a child, which suggests something, it's worse than I thought, really. But that's going to have to do. Again, it's I'm trying my best here. I've got a little motorbike and got anonymous photo. So I'd love to be able to say that I was the kind of person who built motorbikes in their bedroom, and their grandfather invented the motorbike and owned all the motorbikes in the world or something. But no, I didn't even consider it. I do remember a program called Street Hawk. Do you remember that? Nobody remembers Street Hawk? Some people nodding. I mean, even when I was 6, I think I could tell that it was sped up footage. I mean, nobody. But that was basically my only sort of encounter with motorbikes. So it wasn't until. Oh no, sorry. This is more of my childhood. Okay, again, my father was manic depressive, bipolar, and one of the ways this manifested itself is in lots and lots of incomplete projects, and he would always buy his cars with the intention of renovating them, and that's not an actual photo, but it might as well be. And I remember we had a lovely rose garden. We inherited my grandmother's house and moved in there, and there was this lovely rose garden, and he sort of demolished half of it. Not the whole of it, just half of it, to fit more cars in. Because what would happen is he'd buy a car, and then realise he needed an extra part for it, and then he'd buy another car of the same make, with the intention of kind of cannibalising it. So I kind of got really sick of cars. I think I rejected cars as a result, and spent most of my adult life quite happy not to have any kind of motorised transport, and I cycled and walked everywhere. Until, well, this was the day that I decided to consider riding a motorbike. So I vowed that I would never use public transport again. I thought, well, this is way too dangerous. I had to walk, on this day of 77, it was, all the trains were off, and I had to walk from Dulwich to Tooting in London. And I walked past a scooter shop in Clapham and thought, maybe this is the answer. I was obsessed with these, and it's really weird. Once you make a decision in your head to do something, and you notice things. So I noticed scooters everywhere. It's like, oh wow. And I noticed motorbikes everywhere. Once you make a little change in your head. And having vowed never to use public transport again, a week later I was on the tube, and I thought, actually, why don't I go the whole hog and get a motorbike, because that's a bit more, I don't know, it's just, might as well go the whole way. So I promised Tim and everybody that I wouldn't just list all the bikes I own, but I am going to do that, but I'm going to do it really quickly, because I think you need the context, you need that historical background of me. I'm basically talking about myself, okay? So I'm going to try and race through these. I passed my licence in 2006, third attempt. Second attempt I failed because I was speeding. I lost the exam. I thought, hey, you can't keep up with me. And it turned out that I was speeding and I failed. But I did pass eventually, and I got this, the first one, first proper bike, Triumph Bonneville. And I loved this bike. It's first love in a way. And I rode it to work every day. I went on all over Europe on it and modified it. And this is an example of the kind of thing I got up to. I was thinking these slightly blurry photos make you look like you're dead. You might use that in missing person. This is the only photo they can find, but it was a happy time. So the Pyrenees, and I think about 6 years later, that happened. Somebody built a traffic island in the darkest Merton, and didn't bolt. You can quite clearly see there's no illuminated bollard there. I went straight over it, and that pretty much put paid to that bike. And I was getting a bit cocky with it as well. I was starting to go a bit too fast. Every time I saw a tiny little gap, I'd try and fit through it, and I thought I need to sort of go up a level. So I got this, which is another Triumph. British brand, that's not a reason. But it's bigger and it had more luggage space and so on. I'm really not doing very well at this sort of quick summary, but had a great time on that. Look at that, mountain roads and all sorts all over Europe, wonderful. And then this happened. Rear-ended by a taxi, and it's actually quite good because I got loads of money for it because it wasn't my fault. And with that money, I used the money to record an album. So everything has its uses. But then I thought, there's really no point. I still have a wardrobe full of these, so please. It wasn't the most successful venture of my life, but it's a little landmark. Anyway, that bike was written off. I thought there's really no point in spending much money on motorbikes because they just get trashed. So I found the oldest and cheapest bike I could get on eBay, and I loved it. It's a Honda, it's not a Triumph, it's a Japanese bike, which is brilliant. It's 20 years old, and I really loved that bike. I chose this photo because there's like sun behind it, and really, and it got stolen when I moved down to Hastings, which is truly heartbreaking, and it's quite distinctive. So if you see it. Let me know. So then what did I do after that one? Oh yes, went back to Triumph, thought better go back to the comfort of the Triumph brand. And then that happened, we don't talk about that. I came off in the wet and broke my shoulder. No cast or anything, just a little sling. So 3 months later I thought, okay, well, let's go back to this one. It's big. And and fast. And I used this to commute to work in Hailsham, and then nothing happened, okay? I didn't fall off it. I survived a whole year. But I was a bit, as I said, I changed job and I don't need it for work anymore. So I thought, this one's a bit more fun. So I went back to the Triumph Bonneville. So I hope you're appreciating the palindromic nature of my bike ownership. Hopefully it isn't full circle. Hopefully there will be a future. But isn't it beautiful? We'll just take a moment to just look at that. I mean, it really is. So that's my incredibly quick summary of all my bikes. Now, okay, so why do I do it? I don't want people thinking I don't understand the risks. People tell me it's very dangerous, and I've been on the ground enough times to know that it's quite dangerous. But I do think there's this kind of oppositional thinking where people think that cars are incredibly safe and motorbikes are lethal. And let's face it, we cannot ignore the statistics. Motorbikes are 1% of the traffic and 20% of the accidents. Certainly is a consideration. But I would not use the word risky, because risky implies that there's a sort of unpredictable element to it. I believe that if you are in control of your vehicle, you can predict most outcomes. I'm not particularly good at predicting all the outcomes, but in theory, you can ride a motorbike without serious injury. But people take delight in telling me that you can suffer serious injuries on a motorbike. And I was at a party, and I think I had my sling on, and somebody said, "Oh, we call you organ donors." It's like, so it's supposed to be having a good time, it's a party. Within 2 minutes of meeting me, this guy said, "Oh, we call you organ donors, because, you're just meat ready to be donated to." I just think cars, I mean, okay, they're safer than motorbikes, but really if you are a pedestrian, you're much more likely to get killed by a car than by a motorbike. So let's flip it around a little bit. And I don't know, I can't remember what I said to this guy, but I did have the last laugh with this particular gentleman. He didn't die or anything like that. I don't have a donor card, so that was my mental revenge. I wonder what he's doing now, that guy. Okay, so why do I ride? The positive reasons. So, okay, the dangers haven't put me off, but let's think of the positive reasons. Now, I would just say that it's just now part of my identity, it's just part of who I am. And that's really weird. If you consider age 31, I'd literally never considered it before my life. And then age 32, suddenly I'm really, really addicted to it and couldn't get rid of it. How I want to say it's part of my identity, I don't mean that I'm a member of a gang or of, Hell's Angels. I find that image really quite repulsive, to be honest. No regrets indeed. I mean, but, so I'm not a member of a gang. There is this kind of camaraderie, though, about motorbike ownership. I do get into these conversations with people at, ferries and petrol stations, and the conversation really is pretty much, I have motorbike. I also have motorbike. Motorbike's good, yes? Yes. We both have motorbikes, and that's really as far as I want to go, because I'm terrified of being caught out. I'm terrified that one day they're going to ask me something technical about what the round things are called or something, and I will just be caught out and exposed as a fraud, and I don't want that. So I'll keep the conversation short, but there's this camaraderie on the road. It's quite nice. People do wave at each other. I wave at even scooters. I give them a little pity nod. You'll grow up one day. I notice as you get closer to London, the waving stops. Okay, but there is one other group. I mean, there's all these kind of subcultures, but usually it's kind of like a big happy family. But there's one particular group which doesn't ever wave back, and that is Harley Davidson riders. Oh, thank you. Right. And I've heard a great theory, which is if they wave, the air resistance will slow the bike down. So, no, forgive them, after all. But I remember when I went into work on the first day with my new bike, I think it was the head of maths came up to me. I'd never spoken to him before, and came to me and said, "You ride a motorbike?" I said, "Yes, but you wear a waistcoat." It's true, it's not the same one, but I do. But for her, it just didn't fit in. I don't fit into that mental image of what a biker should be. And so, I had this insecurity about whether I'm a proper biker or not. And this is an easy target, though, isn't it? Trike, I'm sorry. This is definitely not a proper motorbike, okay? Because it's got 3 wheels, for goodness sake. And I found myself at a pub in, I won't say where in case this comes back to me. The following story does not reflect well on the present speaker, okay? I'm the present speaker. So I was in this pub, and there were some photos of motorbikes on the wall and a trike. And this chap was sitting down and said, "Oh, that's mine, that is, that's my trike." And I launched into really quite a cruel and prolonged attack on him for riding a trike. And it's really like, I'm finally getting my revenge. All those times I didn't get picked at the PE team or whatever it was. Now I'm the man. Now you ride a trike and I ride a motorbike. Pathetic, really. And I got to the end of my little invective, and there was a kind of stillness in the room, and with quiet dignity, this gentleman explained to me exactly why he couldn't ride a normal motorbike, because he didn't actually have the use of his legs. So I felt incredibly ashamed. I think I tried to give him some money. I think I actually tried to give him some money. In my embarrassment, I think it was like, "Oh, buy yourself a drink," sort of thing. It was like, can I please pay you to remove this embarrassment? But it was not good. I haven't been back to that pub or that town since. So anyway, that's image and identity. And there are these cool bikers. Well, I really wasn't aware of this image until I had one. And I just went a little bit laughable, really. I certainly don't ride a motorbike because I'm trying to imitate Steve McQueen. But there is this rebellious, independent spirit I do quite like. That's not me, that's actually Marlon Brando. Anybody know who this is? Greek finance minister. Close. Oliver Sacks, the neurologist. That is cool. Now, obviously, I think I am that cool, but I don't actually see myself from the outside. I don't actually see myself riding. I do have one photograph of me actually in motion on a motorbike, and this is courtesy of Merton Parking Services. And this is quite lovely, because this is the most rebellious moment of my entire life, caught on camera. And in my head I'm going, I am beating the system here, because I'm the bus lane, and what do motorbikes not have on the front of them? They don't have a number plate. So in my head I'm like, yeah, there's nothing you can do about this. You cannot stop me from doing this. And there I am. I think you'll agree, pretty cool. And the camera has the ability, I now know, to turn. And I got 120 quid fine, something ridiculous. And 3 months later, that bus lane was actually opened up to motorbikes anyway. So I think that's my punishment for having a go at the trike guy. But I did have the last laugh here again, because if you notice, I've got an illegal number plate. It's silver on black, and that's actually not allowed. So that's the second most rebellious moment of my life, which I got away with as well. So there we go. All right. So image and identity, but okay. What are the positive reasons? It's the experience. I think you'll agree. It's a pretty happy-looking picture. And it's a number of things which I love about motorbiking. It's a connection to the machine. It's the awareness of your surroundings. You have to be very, very aware of what you're doing. And also perception of time as well, which I'm not doing very well at the moment, I don't think. I'm going to try to speed up. But can I just draw your attention to a few things about the photograph. First of all, we are not moving. That's the crucial thing. We're not wearing our helmets. There's no wind, there's no rain, there's no insects. This is a posed photograph to make it look as if I'm having a good time. And in actual fact, I did work this out. The yellow is literally the amount of time I actually enjoy myself on a motorbike. And the rest of it, I mean, it's either, you put all your gear on and then you need to go to the toilet, or you put your gloves on and then you can't put your helmet on, or you worry about where to park. It's just endless, it really is. And just spare a thought for us poor bikers, because what you see is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole world of preparation behind what we do. So why do I do it? Well, that yellow is actually really worth it. I really do believe that. The yellow is worth it. So, yes. This whole thing about being in the moment, actually, this is quite good, actually, because it's a piano. I can't possibly play this on the microphone. Where's that piano guy? Can you do that? Can you, I'm sorry it's no bass clef. Can we sing? Is that choir in tonight? Okay, yeah, that's thank you. I didn't choose that for any kind of political reason at all. I didn't choose the EU national anthem for any political reason at all. But this is this idea of being in the moment. Okay, so how do we recognise that melody? You recognise it because you remember the notes before, and you're aware of the note afterwards. So when we say you're in the moment, you're not really in a slice of time. You're also kind of in a sort of a zone around the moment as well. So it's an interesting thing. You have to be kind of in the moment, but aware of the whole thing as well. And I also like to liken motorbiking to drawing. And actually, this is these drawings were done in this very room. There were live drawing classes. Yeah, she was fantastic. It was fantastic. The classes were fantastic. And I did this with my broken arm. Just trying to, really had to concentrate on making a line. Had to observe and make this line. And that's what you do in a motorbike. You have to be really, really in the moment, really focused and really aware of what you're doing. And you are creating a line. So I think that comparison is quite valid, actually. So drawing and motorbikes. Okay. There is, I'm not saying it's a sort of spiritual experience. It's kind of like, it is kind of close to meditation for me. I know nothing about meditation, but I do seem to spend quite a lot of time praying when I'm on the motorbike. So there is that. But it's all about overcoming this fear. And I've got a couple of funny stories which hopefully will illustrate that. One, remember the golden slice, the golden bit of the pie chart? I was in one of those moments. I was cruising through southern France at about 95 miles an hour. Don't tell anybody. And suddenly, extreme pain in my right arm. A wasp had actually flown up my sleeve, was stinging my arm. And normally, if I see a wasp, if I'm within 10 miles of a wasp, I flail around like a 7-year-old girl. I'm kidding, like a 35-year-old man. And I had to somehow, bring my craft to port while being stung on the arm. And this is the controlling arm. And I jumped all over the jacket. I jumped on my jacket, hoping to kill this little wasp. And it flew out away somewhere. I sometimes like to think about what it must have been like from the wasp's point of view. Just flying along quite innocently, and then darkness, and then suddenly you're somewhere else. It must have been like going to a wormhole or something from the wasp's point of view. And the second story is, I had the misfortune of a night out in Manchester. I rode up to see a friend, and the next day I was terribly hungover. I think they put something in that beer, probably alcohol, I imagine. And I was terribly hungover, but I had to get back home. I was riding on the M something, and I felt really sick. And I was thinking, I'm going to vomit inside my helmet. And if that happens, I'm not going to be able to see, and I'm going to die. And it's really not dignified. And they don't offer that in Swiss clinics as a way to go. And then I realised I was actually going the wrong way. I was going, for about half an hour, I'd been going the wrong way. And I think I actually did cry. So I was riding my motorbike, crying, and trying not to be sick. But there's still part of the sort of mastery of the fear. So quite a contrast to the cool biker. Anyway, so I've gone over. So I'm just going to go straight to the. Oh yes, no, I'm going to skip this. That is the perfect corner. It's a B500 in Germany. And I've been there, and it's an amazing road. It's designed for motorbikes. It's designed to test motorbikes. It was designed by the Nazis, so mixed feelings on that one. But I would like to go there again. So I won't read those out because I've gone over. But here's a bit further reading for you. Okay, so some books you must read about motorbikes. The Ted Simon's Jupiter's Travels, wonderful travel writing, and I'm sure you're all familiar with Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's a wonderful book, and here endeth the lesson. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
I used to have a camper van. I had 2 camper vans over the years, and like you, Andrew, I knew nothing about them at all in terms of how they worked. I just knew they were air cooled, and that was it. I didn't know what that meant. Really. So again, I'd turn up and go, you've got it's got wheels. They're called wheels.
At least you know they're called wheels.
Does anybody have a question for Andrew? That was fascinating insight into the world of motorcycling. I love the very slim amount of enjoyment you actually get.
It's worth every second.
Does everybody have anybody ride motorbike? There are some motorbikers. Has anybody got any questions for Andrew in terms of how...
Absolutely fine if you don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, up there. I'll come running. I haven't got a microphone to give you, but...
I've got a microphone here. I'll just come up to you.
There's a motorcycle rally last weekend or weekend before the... do you mix it with all...
Absolutely not, no. That's nothing to do with me. No, I was up on the West Hill. And I like to think I'm the only person who rides a motorbike. And it's really threatening to me to see 30,000 people doing what I think is my unique little thing. So I keep well away from them, yeah. So.
I was going to ask you, I wonder what they all do, but clearly you don't know. So
what do they do? I don't know. I mean, you can't do anything, can you? Because you're stuck. You're just too many people. So, yeah, sorry, you can't enlighten me on that, really. But,
I think there was any other questions? Yes, question over there.
As you probably know, being so technically minded, there are actually, you only showed us 3 pictures of real motorbikes there. Andrew Saxon on the BMW is one of them. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that all the bikes that you've had have had radiators.
Radiators.
Water-cooled.
Did you see radiators on my diagram of the motorbike?
You obviously don't realise that a real motorbike doesn't have a radiator.
Well, actually, the Triumph Bonneville, the first one I had, that was air-cooled, actually. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, why are radiators bad? When they stop your engine from overheating, isn't it good to not be...
It's the noise. It's the sound. The reason why they brought in radiators on motorbikes, I'm sure you know, was because it was too noisy if you have them air-cooled. So from that moment on, motorbikes cease to be motorbikes. Really.
Well, if you know what you're doing, there are ways to make your motorbike noisy, even with a radiator. So, yes.
The benefit of a radiator on a bike is that it catches wasps before they go up.
Yeah, but the wasp has to know where it's going. But, yes, no, thank you.
Yes, question here, yeah.
Have you ever thought of going to the Isle of Man and doing the kind of TT thing?
Why, what is this TT? Because I remember an instructor on my driving test said, "Oh, have you heard of the Isle of Man TT?" I said, "No, I haven't." And he said, "You're an ignorant bastard." And so that's why I stick to the, you know, the I have a motorbike, you have a motorbike. There's nothing going.
I did see a hand over here somewhere. Did I not? Any last questions before we take a break? I don't think so. Well, actually, Andrew's probably relieved as well, because they're working in quite technical ones.
Yeah, radiators and we'll talk about spark plugs next or something.
Can we thank Andrew again?
Thank you very much.